I want to thank you for coming today for our July Strive Loss Prevention Program. Today we have Jim Tapp with Openpath Security. He's a regional sales manager, and Openpath Security is smart security solutions for the modern office. So Jim, it's up to you now. Take over.
Good morning. Thank you very much, Beth. Appreciate the kind words. So I guess by way of a brief background, I've been in the security business for a little bit over 20 years. And before that, I was in the integration business, primarily targeted at pharmaceuticals, but it served me well in terms of bringing multiple systems together and making them work as a single cohesive system. So what we're going to look at today is an access control platform manufactured by Openpath. So we make this hardware and software in LA. We are a Motorola solutions company, and that's a brand new acquisition. It was just announced about a week ago. So what's terrific about that is we have tremendous support and resources at our disposal for future product enhancement and growth. An access control system, if you didn't know, is designed specifically to manage the flow of people or things through a facility. And the reason I say things is it can be assets, it can be vehicles, it can be forklifts, but primarily you think about it as a person has a card, they present it to a reader, and if you're allowed in that door now, then the reader will encrypt that card and then unlock the door. So that's a classic access control use case. We are a modern technology company, so we are a cloud-based system, number one, which means that our system software lives in the cloud, so you don't have to have a server on site, which can save you a tremendous amount of money, and overhead and maintenance that normally is associated with having a PC. Things like Windows updates or antivirus, those things have kind of gone by the wayside with a cloud-based system. And the other thing worth noting is that we're a mobile-first platform, which means your phone is your primary credential to get through your doorways. And there are tremendous advantages to that, which we'll cover. So I'm going to go through a couple slides. I also have the software dashboard that we can look at. And then I have some time for questions afterwards. So I am going to share my screen. Let's get my presentation posted here first. And now, can you all see my screen? Mm-hmm. Okay. So a couple things worth noting about the platform is it is modern hardware. So that's the reader. That's what it looks like. We make that reader, and it is Bluetooth enabled. So it uses contemporary technology. As I mentioned, it's cloud-based, which means that anywhere that you happen to be, you can log into the system software and manage the door at your store or retail space or tenant space. It's a very simple thing to do. So from a laptop, from a PC, from a desktop, or even your phone, you can log in to the portal and manage the facility. As I mentioned, your phone is your primary credential, but we do use cards, we do use key fobs, so we're backward compatible with that technology. And sometimes the issue comes up, maybe an employee doesn't want to put the phone app, put the app on their phone. Maybe they choose not to opt in and they would rather not give up the use of their phone. So credentials work as well. And then if you're a programmer or have some resources to programming, you can have access to our software through our API, which means that you can integrate our software with anything else that you want. This is a quick look at the experience for going through a doorway. And in this particular case, what we've got here is a Bluetooth enabled reader, and every reader's range is configurable for how far out it's looking for cell phones. And there are almost a dozen patents around this technology to get you through the door. So this reader sends out a beacon. That patent is called iBeacon. And when it hits the phone automatically launches the app. So you don't have to have the app running. You don't have to take out your phone and unlock your phone and find your app and launch your app. It's all automatic. And the distance that the phone and the reader need to be for this to initiate the launch is configurable. So these two devices are talking to each other, and now we already know that this woman is allowed in this door now. And for this particular reader or this particular door, we've asked her through configuration to either wave at it or touch it so that we know she means to go through the door now. And that's something that's very different about access control. So contemporary access control. So this communications is encrypted. She's going to wave at the door. And the idea is we don't want her walking past the door and have it unlock when she didn't really mean to go through the door. So we've asked her at this reader, wave or touch the reader, and we'll show you in a minute what that looks like. And then she can go through the door. We are focused primarily on property management. So that is our core vertical market. And these are some larger commercial properties that we're securing with our platform. But it's also significant to note that we have many of the tenants inside these buildings. So a single tenant space or a single commercial storefront is also a typical application. The system software is totally scalable, which means that you can start with a single door and run what we call the basic platform. And if your system needs grow or you need additional features, we can move you to a premium or an enterprise plan. And the enterprise is usually targeted at multi-location and oftentimes international customers with offices throughout the world. But most of the sales for access control are at the basic level because most of the sales are under 8 doors, and it's typical to put in 1 or 2 doors at your facility. So we mentioned that your phone is your credential, and what we've done is take the old badge, which everybody's commonly used to, a hard card or a key fob, and we've moved that to your phone. So a couple things about the phone: we can put your ID on your phone, so it's a virtual credential. And as we update you in terms of qualifications or training, we can update fields on your badge design here to say that you've had additional training or maybe a vaccination, and we can post that right here so anyone can see it if you're challenged. Your phone will have all the doors that you have access to. And so right from this screen on your phone, you can unlock the back door or IT closet, etc. And you can see down here, you've got a couple other features that allow you to lock doors, trigger a lockdown if you're so authorized. And so this is commonly used for schools, but also commercial properties where if a threat is perceived, I can have a 1-button lockdown. Basically, you hit that button if you're authorized. And the first thing the system does is it says, are you sure you want to lock down? And then what happens is every door gets locked, every phone turns off, every card turns off, every key fob turns off. And if it's just a storefront, then all of your employees or salespeople, their credentials stop working, except for the 1 or 2 people for whom you've given the override privilege to. So all of that is kind of done at your door. As I mentioned, there's multiple patents around the technology. And what we found when we first designed the platform was we use Bluetooth to get you in the door. And if you've got a Bluetooth speaker, or maybe you've got Bluetooth enabled car or truck, and it's really pretty good, but what you find is it's not 100%. Sometimes your Bluetooth speaker might crackle or get a little noisy. Sometimes my phone doesn't pair with my car. I don't know why. It's supposed to do it all the time. And that's what we found when we first designed the platform is as good as Bluetooth is, it's not 100%. So another patent that we have is called triple unlock technology. When we issue these commands from your phone to the reader, we actually send it Bluetooth and Wi-Fi and cellular all at the same time. So unlike a regular card or a lot of our competitors who only use Bluetooth, we send triple path communications to the reader or the panel, and we always get you in the door. And it is 99% reliable, and it is a sub-second unlock time. And what that looks like, if you just want to picture how the system is built, we have an Amazon Web Services cloud-based platform. It's North American based, which is important for security purposes. And that connects to a device in your store or in your office. That's our controller. And that controller manages your door. So in this panel here locally, we have everybody who's allowed to use their credentials at the reader and unlock the door. And the reason we put all that in the panel locally in your store is that if your connection to the cloud was interrupted, if your router went down or anything like that, all of this still works locally, and you can present your card or your phone to the reader, and it's still going to have a local connection, and it's still going to unlock the door, even if you lost connection to the host. And all of us that are in the business, that's how we behave, is if you lose connection to the host, whether it be a PC or a cloud, we all still let you in. For us, we send the signal Bluetooth. And at the same time, if your Wi-Fi is enabled and the panel is on the house network, which it often is, we also send it Wi-Fi. And at the same time, whatever cell carrier you have, we send it over your cell signal to the cloud. And then it's a race to the panel. And one of those three technologies is going to unlock the door, and the other two will be discarded. So I wanted to give you a better look at what a panel looks like, but that's the overall architecture, and it's significant. It's important to note this communications for Bluetooth or for our encrypted credentials here, even when it's Wi-Fi or over the cell network, and then also from the cloud to the panel. And even while the data is at rest, it's all encrypted tip to tip. And we use TLS 1.2 encryption. So it's a very secure system, which is important to know. When you get down to your storefront, this is really what the single door controller looks like. And I have one with me on my desk just to give you a feel for the size. So there's that cover that you see in front of you. And then this is the single door controller. And this actually will do 2 doors if you need to. So it's a small form factor. And the way it connects is to your router or to your network. And it actually can be powered over your network if it happens to be a PoE switch, or there's a place for a power supply connection. And then you just wire up the door with the door objects. And so you have your card reader, you have your lock, you have your request to exit, and then you have a door contact. And I would say if anybody is going to put any money in wiring up a door, make sure you put in a door contact, because then we know if somebody goes through the door with their reader or using the reader and use their credential, we know if they didn't close the door behind them, or if they were inside and they went outside to go talk to somebody, or, you know, it's very common in schools to go outside and have a cigarette, and then you start talking to somebody. If you don't shut the door with that door contact there, we can alert you or the landlord to say, hey, you know, that door is still open and it's supposed to be closed. So it's important for security. The other thing that's important to note is this single door controller has onboard Wi-Fi. So if you have a Wi-Fi connection in your store, then your installer can connect this Wi-Fi wirelessly, and then it'll save you on your labor for your installation. So that's a small deployment. This shows just a single door, but if you need to ramp up, you know, we can expand to multiple readers in a panel or multiple sites. So that's the overall look at it. And now just a real quick look at what we showed before is what the experience would be. So imagine walking up to your storefront Monday morning, and your phone, you turn off all your apps Friday afternoon when you go home. And then by the time you get to the store and you are pinged by the reader, then you can have a totally touchless experience to get in. And a lot of this came out because of COVID, because people didn't want to touch readers that other people were touching. A lot of keypads, we've replaced a lot of keypads. We've replaced a lot of biometric fingerprint readers because a lot of people don't want to put their finger where somebody else had just put theirs. So we can really leverage the technology that is available to us all. Another thing that's a little bit different about this is if you're a storefront owner and you're not at the store, you can issue a guest pass. Now, I sent one to Joey and Beth earlier this morning. If you get the chance, maybe you can open up your guest pass and unlock the door. But what you can do is you can say, this is Beth's visit. I can just type in the purpose. And I don't know if you heard, but somebody just unlocked the door behind me. And then I can say, when is your guest pass good for? And I can give you a single door or multiple doors. And then it's only available within that time frame. And then when you get to the door, you just tap on your phone and you go in. And there's a good audit trail. And I'm going to take a quick look at my system here so that you can see, if I quickly run the report, we can see that it was Joey who just came in the door. He came in the 295 Main Street entrance. He did it with a remote unlock. So we know that he's not actually at the store, right? So he's far away. He's using the remote capability. He did it over the cloud. And I'm the guy that gave Joey the access to that particular door right now. So a lot of information, an easy way for you as either the landlord or the store owner to share access to a particular door or group of doors. And then, of course, there's a great audit trail of what was done. And if you have a lot of doors that you're managing and I'm in the report rater right now, I just happen to click on it. But if I want to see, just who came in the conference room, as I start typing, you can see it automatically sorts my report on the fly. I'm still in the cloud. But if I want that data on my local PC, if I just click on this download, you can see how fast it sent it to my PC. I have that history of that door, and I can put the date and time for when that history starts and ends, for how long my report is. So it's all right in front of me there. So it's a pretty useful tool. It's very secure, and it's an easy thing to manage. If I look at people in the system, if I wanted to add a user, all I need to do is from this cloud, go into the user screen. And if we take a look at Beth's record here, we haven't actually issued Beth anything yet, but I can say Beth is going to have a credential to come into my store. And I'm going to limit when her credential will work if I choose. And if I want, I can give Beth, by clicking here, access to this portal so that she can do everything I'm doing, and I can give her a different role. In this case, I'm going to say Beth is a super admin. And now when I come down here and click save, then Beth is just going to get an email from our system, and it's going to say, hey, Beth, you've been given access, set your password, and then she can log in. If I look at Beth's credential, we've given Beth a mobile phone. I didn't send it to her yet, but as soon as I send it to her, Beth's going to get another email that says, hey, you've been given access to the store at 295 Main Street. You can start unlocking the doors. If Beth wants to use a card, and I'm just going to click on here just to show you, I can add another card for Beth. Let's say what the card number is. And when that card works at the door, I can configure that as well. And once I click save, we've just given Beth a second card because maybe she lost her card. Maybe her phone's not working. If Beth lost her phone or she bought a new one, then all I need to do now is click resend. And what happens is it sends a new link to the new phone. It automatically decommissions the old phone. And there's no fee for that. We issue for every site, every system that we sell, 500 credentials are included, 500 cell phone credentials. So there's no fee for those. And they're reusable. So as people leave and come back, or you have new people to take their place, you can just reuse those credentials. And if I click on access, just to show you what it looks like to give access to a particular door, you can see that I have 4 doors connected. But if I want to remove some of those doors, it's a real simple thing for me to do. Or if I want to put those doors on a schedule to say Beth's card only works Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 to 11, it's a real simple thing to do. So you have really total control of who's allowed in your door, when they're allowed in, what credential they're going to use. You can even give them the privilege here so that Beth is allowed to remotely unlock the doors at home. So maybe her employee gets to the store and for some reason she can't get through. Maybe she didn't bring her phone, maybe who knows, but somehow she lets Beth know she can't get through. Beth, because she has the remote unlock privilege, she can unlock the door from home and let that person in. And if I want, I can have Beth's credential work in that lockdown scenario. So although everybody else's phones and cards turn off, Beth's will still work. So you can see it's not only straightforward, relatively simple, but it's very secure. And you can control single doors or groups of doors, and you can put them on different schedules. And again, with the report, it's a real easy way to find out, just by clicking on the activity, who went through what door when, whether they used the cloud or their phone, or if they used the card, that would show up. We can even set the phone or the reader to configure that says, if you don't unlock your phone with your finger or your face or your PIN, your phone won't work to get through the door. And sometimes the question comes up, what if somebody grabs my card? Can they get through? Yep, you sure can. If I took Joey's card and went up to the store, then Joey can come in. But if I took his phone and I've configured it that I must unlock the phone with my finger, and I don't have Joey's finger, then I can't get in. So you really can tightly couple the ease of use with the activity. I see Beth just came in 3 times. She came in the conference room and the front door, and Beth used the cloud key. And again, I'm the one that issued that to Beth. So real-time reporting, ultra secure. And the other nice thing about this system is, from the support, if I forgot how to do anything, if I just click on the frequently asked questions, then I can type in, how do I add a user? And it just tells me how to do it. So I have multiple documents that tell me if I wanted to turn off a user. Let's say we terminated Joe today and we don't want his credential to work anymore, then there's a document that tells you how to do it. So you don't have to be an expert at programming because all the information is at your fingertips. And you might be noticing the performance is really pretty fast, right? So when I type or click on something here, the system behaves really quickly. So I'm going to come back to our presentation here for a second. And let's go through a couple more slides, and then we'll probably stop and see if there are any particular questions that you have. Real quickly, we have an open platform, which means that if you have programmers and they know their way around program interfaces or webhooks, this documentation is freely available on our web, and they can have access to make our system work with maybe a time and attendance system, or maybe a visitor management system or something like that. And we have a lot of those already built. If I look at some of these systems that are already finished, visitor management systems, building management systems, people counting systems, video integration systems, already finished. But if you needed to do your own, you could. Let's see if there is probably a good time to ask for some questions. So, I was brought here today as we work closely with Rich Sargent at Security 101 in Hampton Roads. He's introduced us to Beth. If you have any questions, you can get back to me or Richard. They're your local resource, and they can put together a proposal to secure your facility. So why don't we open it up for questions? Anybody have anything that I can answer for you?
Jim, how does this work? With our door, we have a lock, a key lock.
Yeah.
We have to actually lock the door. We lock the door and unlock the door to get in. And we also have a code on the door. So we would unlock the door first and then use the code that we have on there. Would this run similar to that we would unlock our door and then use your?
So usually when you'll have an electrified lock, and the electrified lock could be unlocked by a schedule, or it could be just unlocked by your credential. And one of the things that you can do in the programming is you can say, let's unlock the door Monday to Friday from 9 to 5, but we're really going to wait until somebody shows up before we leave it unlocked all day. So maybe, Beth, you're running a couple minutes late and you don't get there till 10 after 9, but when you get to the door, you can then use your credential, your phone, to wave or touch, and then it can go right to your alarm system and turn that off, and then it can unlock your door for the rest of the day and leave it that way until 5 o'clock, at which point it will relock it. So
when we're talking about unlocking, we're actually talking about a physical lock, not your program. Because
we're talking about an electrified lock. It's called either a mag lock or a strike, and it connects to our panel. So if I can come back to this.
Because we keep ours, we actually unlock the door, physically unlock it every day, but you still have to use your code to get in. And that's how we like it, because of some of the businesses that are around us, like the parole board, things like that are our neighbors. We would just like to, that's one reason we have it like that.
Yeah. So you could still use your code. In our case, you would use your reader, which replaces your keypad, right? But and so you could either use your phone, in which case you just wave at it because you're authenticated, or you use a card, which replaces your code. And the problem with a code, Beth, is once somebody knows your code, then when they come in and use it, you really don't know who did it.
Right.
But with the phone, you can say the phone doesn't work unless I put my finger on the phone. And then it has to be you, and we know you're the one who came through.
Right.
That's configurable. You don't have to make it that tight. But we do want to eliminate keypads for a couple of reasons. One, it's easily copied and you don't know who did it. But two, because of COVID, a lot of people don't want to touch the keypad that somebody else just touched.
Right.
Anybody else have a question? I know I covered that a little bit quickly.
Well, we have a person who comes in at 6 a.m. and last week she forgot her phone at home, and she comes in and unlocks the door, the physical door, I should say. But everybody still has the keypad. So she wasn't here, so she was still able to get in because we don't have this type of system. So we would probably give her a phone. If we were to do something like this, you would give them, they could use their phone and a card or a card to get in that morning.
That's right. That's right. And so you can have my record. I think I have 15 credentials because I constantly add them during these demos. I don't need 15. But the point is you can have a phone and a credential, and you can have multiple phones and you can have multiple credentials. And to the system, that still is just one user. And the first 500 users are included with the system. So the nice thing about a phone credential is because it's virtual, you don't have to pay for it. A card, you know, you have to buy them, and if you lose them, you have to replace them, and there's a cost associated with that. So it's another reason why so many people are going to mobile credentials. And the other thing worth noting is the readers that we make and the panels that we make, they both come with a lifetime warranty.
Okay.
Anybody else have any questions?
I think it's good that you can change your credential right away. Because,
Yes.
you know, we've had an incident where my CEO and I actually had to stay here into the evening because of an employee that we had to change the credentials. And that was when, well, actually not the credentials, we had to change the keypad code on the door. Because when they left, they took the key to the building with them.
Yeah.
And they also, and they could also have gotten back in if we were not here. So we had to do that. So to be able to do something like this immediately is a big plus.
Yeah, absolutely. So just with a click of a button, I can suspend a particular card. I can turn it off right from the screen here and just totally disable it. I can just change it from active to suspended and save it. And then that person's code or card or phone stops working immediately. And it's nice that you can have access to this from anywhere, right? You can do this from your phone wherever you are.
Okay.
So Richard, Security 101 is your local contact, and he can come out and walk your site and put together a proposal for you. I live in New Jersey, but I'm in the territory at least once a month, sometimes more often. And I always have my equipment with me. If you wanted to take a closer look, let Richard know or get in touch with me, and we'll be happy to stop in and spend a little more time with you.
Yeah. And just for some of you that don't know, I know y'all have been to many of our meetings that has Matthew Notardis who has spoken, and he's with Security 101. So that's our connection with Jim this morning also, and Richard is with Matthew, who has spoken at some of our conferences. So very, very good.
All right. Well, if there's nothing else, I can sign off. I don't know if you have other things after my presentation, but
Kylie said this was interesting, and thank you. So, and I thank you very much for coming and speaking with us. This is interesting, especially in, you know, some of the issues that we've had, and also with, like you said, it's touchless, which is very good.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's very good. We appreciate you coming and talking with us, and thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. You have a great day.
And for those of you who don't know, we will this will be recorded. It is recorded. It will be shown on our members' website. So, or I think it's Joey. I think it's a maybe our Facebook page. I'm not sure where he
Yes, we'll be putting it on YouTube, social media. We'll be sending an email out. It'll be going out to lots of places.
Yeah. So if you think of someone that you want to show this to, that would be great. Alan, I don't know if any of your clients, any of your retailers over on your side of the water, if they have any issues, they may want to look at something like this. So our next meeting is going to be Tuesday, August the 24th. That's the date right now. We're kind of changing them up, depending on who can speak. And so we're looking for someone to talk to us about active shooter. If anybody can do something like that, we think that's a good one to have again. The last one we had was several years ago, I believe. And Alan, I think you were the one that did it.
Yes, I think I was actually.
So I may be calling you. I think I have your program.
Okay.
So I might get you to speak. If it's not available that day, then maybe another day that week or something. So I might get with you because I've had several requests for that. Like I say,
Okay.
a lot of times they can't be in person, but I think it's always good to get your perspective, especially, and then we can have it on YouTube so people to review it because you
Okay.
just never know.
All right. Well, if you want to give me a call, let me know. I'm looking at my calendar. I am actually doing an active shooter presentation that morning, but it's supposed to end at 9. But it's with
We could do it on Wednesday or something, or Thursday that week, whatever.
yeah. Give me a call and we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Sure, it's good to see you.
I can see you
it's been
too.
a long time. You're with York County,
James City.
James City. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right.
Y'all are all intermingled up that way. James City County, which is great. So it's good to see everybody, and we will see you in August. So thank you for attending.
All right. Thank you.